Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Come Get Your Bag. This is Lunathi on the Wireless Network from Gqeberha. And this is the show, the business show, that is here to tell you everything, all things business, and telling you about the people behind the brands as well. And welcome back if you have just joined us. You are on Come Get Your Bag. And today we have Siviwe Katywa from Cosmetic. How are you
Hi.
doing?
I'm good. How are you? A little flustered, but I'm good.
You made it.
I made it.
You made it. How are you
Yeah.
doing? What's going on? How
Ah,
was your day?
listen, girls booked and busy,
Well, that's good.
but in the best way. In the
Those are
best
good
way.
problems.
Those are good problems. Okay,
Yeah.
it's better than just sitting around. But I'm good. I'm good. It's a lot of up and down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
All right. So
take it day by
tell
day.
us about your brand,
Yeah,
Am I pronouncing it
it's
correctly?
actually Clear Sky.
Okay.
It's basically it took me such I don't know why, but it took me such a long time to come up with the name.
Right.
And honestly, because I like any other person who's starting a business, you really want your name, the name of your business, to kind of stand out.
Yes.
But you also want it to make sense.
Right.
So like I think it took me such a long time to get to a point where I thought, okay, let me not overthink it.
Right.
I just jotted down things that were kind of sentimental to me,
Okay.
and then I put them together. So and top priority there was my mom.
Okay.
So Cleo is actually my mom's first name.
All
Her first name
right.
is Cleopatra.
Okay.
So I just took the first part of that, and then
Very
obviously I'm a
Afrocentric.
priority. I'm a priority, and then I just took part of my name, well, my
Right.
initial and my surname, put that in one. Because like in my mind, I'm thinking I'm not necessarily starting a business to kind of make money for now because I need to survive. I
Right.
started the business because it really is something that I'm passionate about, but I'm looking at it as something that'll kind of go generations down the line, kind
Leaving
of
a
feed
legacy.
my kids, my kids' kids. So I kind of wanted to incorporate that all in one. So
Okay.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
very unique, I
it
must say.
is.
It
It
is
is.
quite unique. So
And
what do
yeah,
people call it? Cleo or
yeah. Some
this guy?
people call it clear because it's so, and there's that is it a hyphen
Yes,
that I
the
kind of put in
underscore.
the underscore as
Yes.
well. So a lot of people are kind of confused about it. I don't know if I'll change it in the long run.
Right.
Maybe, maybe not. But for
Cleo
now, it
SK.
makes but for now, it makes sense to me, and I like
Right.
it. And
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, great. Now, what inspired you to eventually start your business?
Yeah.
Like you've been doing makeup for quite some time. I've known you for quite some
Yeah,
time.
yeah, you
So
have.
I mean, I've seen your posts and
Yeah,
you've been passionate about looking good and
yeah.
you're always looking fresh.
Try. I hear that a lot.
So what made
Yeah.
you decide, okay, you know what? I'm passionate about this. Let me make this into a business now.
My family. Um, I think, unlike other beauty enthusiasts or like influencers will always say like, "Oh, I grew up loving makeup." I didn't grow up loving makeup. Okay, I was a tomboy. I played first team netball. I
Yes.
was a tomboy through and through. I still love sports.
Right.
I grew up watching sports. I have two brothers. I didn't
Yes.
necessarily grow up in like my feminine energy.
Right.
So I
Right.
kind of only tapped into that, I think, if not in varsity, probably a bit later than varsity. But I I think the start of loving makeup was honestly essentially lack of resources. Because
Right. Having to make things work.
I remember I was about to graduate and I mean, I hadn't even paid off my school fees, and I had to figure out how I was going to do my hair, who was going to do
Right.
my makeup, and obviously, you look at the budget at home. I was like, well, my mom looked at me like, "Girl,
Yeah,
nah,
we're not
nah."
going that route.
And so I made a plan, and I think that's where, for me, it started, which was kind of late. I mean, probably I was like, what, 23 then,
Okay.
23, 24. And I just went into a makeup hole. I just delved into it and I
Uh-huh.
just started learning little basics, how to do makeup, how to apply this and that. Did it on my own. My brother, though, I do have a little story. Because when I was still learning, I still remember, and I was doing my eyebrows on my own. So,
Oh, the
I
story.
mean, according to him, my eyebrows were a little bit too
Too much.
dark,
Yeah.
I guess. So he secretly took me to Bay West this one time, and he was like, "No, let's just go to Bay West and visit my friend." Shout out Asa. And we got there, and apparently he had already briefed her, like, listen, my sister's like into
She's
this makeup
struggling.
thing, okay? But like, I'm not sure. And she took me in. She was like, yeah, no, I'll show you the basics. Do this. And she was like, oh, but you already know what to do. Just don't use a dark pencil. A lot of girls know that now.
Right.
So, like, I think when I say my family, it's little things like that that I kind of remember. My family's always been on some, oh, Siviwe, you just love everything beauty. I like to look good. And the thing is, I don't really think twice about it. It really comes naturally to me. I don't think too much about what I have to wear or
Right.
how I want to look. I sort of always have an idea, and if I have a certain look in my mind and I'm in the mood to kind of embrace that look,
Then you just do
I
it.
kind of pull whatever I can put together. I cut clothes, I cut hair.
So,
Yeah.
in terms of just being in the industry and now fully in the industry,
Yeah.
right? And what would you say are the misconceptions about makeup, beauty? You know, there are people who feel that it's just vanity, right?
Right.
Why would you want to put all this stuff on your face? Why don't you just go natural?
Right.
So, what would you say are some of the misconceptions that you've come across
Right.
or views that you've come across
Yeah.
in terms of makeup, especially having brothers?
I think I want to start with the latest one that I just learned. And it's that being in love with makeup or enjoying the feeling of making yourself look good and being a makeup artist, two totally different brands. It's two totally different universes.
Okay.
The concept of mastering the art of understanding your face and what
Right.
works for you and what I can do to enhance that. Totally different space. It is a different form of skill
Right. I
that
can
you
imagine.
have to embrace and learn. I think another misconception about makeup is that no makeup is no makeup, and there's no such thing.
Okay.
The more natural you want to look, the more makeup you actually have to use.
Okay.
But it depends on the brands that you use. It depends on how much you use where and what on your face. And that's where the skill sometimes comes in. Because you can have that skill in understanding your own face or your own body. But when you incorporate having the skill and understanding how to look at someone's face for the first time, and then you look at their skin, texture, color, undertone, and immediately in less than probably an hour, you have to figure out
How
what
to make
works
sure.
for them.
Yes.
It's a totally different skill. It is in no way, makeup is in no way a form of vanity unless you make it that for yourself. I think it's like anything in life.
Right,
If you're in love
right.
with something, depending on how you treat it, if you do it too much or if you do it in the wrong way, obviously it incorporates a form of negative energy
Yeah.
or a negative message towards other people. But how you treat, like you say, how you treat yourself, I found that with makeup, honestly, guys, we do live in a world where everything is social media. Everything's about how you look. The more you present yourself in the best way possible,
Right.
the more people take you seriously,
Right.
and the more doors open for you. I mean, it's not it's not necessarily a conception of like vanity or anything. It's a conception of taking yourself seriously so that other people can take you seriously. And once you get to that point, it really it's
All
not
right.
that difficult. Yeah.
Well, that is Siviwe Katywa from Cleo Sky Cosmetic, a makeup artist in Gqeberha. You know, the world of business is quite tough, right? And I'm sure that you've had some bumps along the road starting the business.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's some learnings from it. You know, you learned your lessons. There's some ups, you know, nice ups and downs.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about memorable moments, whether negative or positive, or both actually,
Yeah.
while now being in the business?
Negative was definitely starting the business. I
Okay.
think I had a very severe case of imposter syndrome, and
That part, that little thing.
it's so boring, guys. I think like even when I have a conversation, it becomes boring for me because I had to have it so many times before I actually even took the leap and kind of even started the business. I mean, it was hard for me to even come up with the name because I felt like whatever name I come up with won't be good enough, or
Right.
it won't kind of leave that mark.
And doubting yourself and
Doubting
thinking.
yourself.
And I'm sure it's also a case of there are so many other makeup artists. Why me? What makes what makes you different?
It's such a what's the word when it's such a the makeup business has become very what's the word?
Saturated.
Saturated. Thank you.
Yes,
It's become
it has.
very saturated in the sense where, I mean, you can become a makeup artist just by simply learning
The
skill off of YouTube. You don't. A lot of people aren't really keen on being qualified or being accredited in any form or
Right.
way unless you probably have other plans and working in different companies.
Right.
But I had a very solid plan. And I felt like steering away from that plan would mean I wasn't going to be as successful as I probably wanted to be.
Okay.
I think that's why I say the negative for me was actually starting the business because I felt like
You
I
weren't
just need to
sticking
go
to the plan.
Yes, and I need to go study first. That's how people are going to take me seriously. If I have
Right.
the certificate, if I have the accreditation, and I tell you I'm a makeup artist,
And that's not always the case.
it's not.
It's really, and
It's really
I was
not.
reading somewhere where, those things, though I don't want to say the legal aspect of things, but the more formal aspect
Yeah.
does not necessarily get you through the door all the time.
Not at
But
all.
networking
Yep.
is how you get through the door. It's
Yep.
who you know, who you speak to, how you speak to people,
Yeah.
and how you carry yourself. That's what gets you
Definitely.
through the door.
Definitely. I think that has been, honestly, it has been the only result of how I've gotten my business, the opportunities that have kind of come my way. I think it was definitely God ordained, but at the same time, because some of the networks that I kind of made were very seamless. It wasn't an effort on my part.
Right.
It came very effortlessly. Some of the networks that I made are people that I've known for years. And it was a case of, I noticed you open a business. I saw your business page.
Yes.
Can we work together? And then boom.
And
you
that's
have a
how it
shoot, and that's
works,
how it
right?
works,
There's
yeah.
always a market.
Definitely.
There's enough for everybody.
There's enough
'Cause
for everybody.
You can't be in 20 places at once, right? So
There we
that
go.
means other people can
Yeah.
take up that space.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in terms of positive, would you say it's then getting the clients seamlessly?
Not really, not for me. I think for me, the positives that I've really taken from being in business and not just in the beauty space is the opportunity to relearn some things you thought you knew already.
Right.
I think, meeting people and networking is kind of always the cherry on top because it comes last. But understanding my skill and understanding my talent, relearning, and also kind of seeing how far I've come.
Right.
Yeah,
And giving yourself that time to reflect.
exactly.
As well. So with that said, so we're talking about the talent aspect of things,
Yeah.
right? This came naturally to you.
Yeah.
What about the business aspect of things? Because admin is a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Accounting is a real thing. And
Yeah.
managing your clients, knowing where to be at
Yep.
the right time,
Yep.
being on time.
Yep.
How do you, set your calendar?
Yeah.
So how has that been for you?
I'll say this because honestly, I have heard that I kind of do have a business mind just because of the way that I speak, and I'm constantly interested in different aspects or things that I don't know. But listen, I don't mind asking stupid questions.
Right.
I really don't mind walking up to somebody and asking, so how do you
How do you do
invoices?
this? Right.
Yeah. So I honestly did not hold back in not only celebrating other people, but also engaging with people in the same space as me and asking those stupid questions. Well, for other people, maybe they might seem as stupid questions, but really there is no such thing as a stupid
Right.
question because it's information
Right.
that you don't know. So I think for me, it was being able to open myself up to sort of being a baby and learning how to crawl in the space. I'm not good with accounting. good with having a media presence in terms of, because having a media presence requires consistency.
It does.
Honestly.
Trust
and
me, I know.
The hard work of being a media personality is having the consistency.
Right.
And just putting in the work. And I knew I lacked there.
Right.
So I think I didn't mind engaging in conversations with people that are in the same space as me, and not even in the same department in terms of beauty, just people in business.
Right. Right.
And learning how to ask things like, what do you do in terms of when you're compiling T's and C's?
Right.
If a client is unhappy with something, maybe a payment process,
Yes.
deposits, all those things, how do you
How do
deal
you
with
navigate
that? How
that
do you
situation?
navigate through that? And I'm still learning. I mean, I'm a very, very new baby. I'm like, what? I think I just got to 6 months, actually. I mean,
Is
my
it?
business is a really, really small baby. But it's just been God's grace on having the opportunities that I've gotten so quickly. But that also requires a very open mind,
Yes, it
learning
does.
and wanting to learn and relearn, like I said.
So if you get a client, right? Let's paint a picture here. You get a client and she says, I want my makeup to be, glam, full
Yeah.
glam, and I want all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
But you can see that what she wants or what he wants, and the outfit perhaps don't match.
Yeah.
What do you do in that situation where you can see, hey, ma'am, I know what you're trying to do, but it's not going to. How do you have that conversation?
Pays to have a personality.
Okay.
Learn to speak. Business requires it requires you to open yourself up to being uncomfortable.
Right.
You're constantly thrown in uncomfortable situations where sometimes, you not only have to become an advisor, but like sometimes a voice of reason.
Right.
So learning how to recommend but without offending.
Like a hairstylist, right?
Literally. Learning how to speak and like how to say it, the
Right.
context in which you say it, how you deliver it,
It's very important.
That's how you also build relationship with clients that kind of are reoccurring. So have the personality that's open to engaging, just speak up and be kind. I mean, they're also human beings. It's just
right. I guess
the customer.
the most important thing that you said was knowing how to be uncomfortable and how to navigate that space of being uncomfortable.
Definitely.
You may be the talent, but it doesn't mean you know it all either.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's very interesting. Well, stay with us as we still have Siviwe Katywa in studio. And we are back with Siviwe Katywa from Clear Sky Cosmetic. Now, what are you working on at the moment? Tell us a typical day in the life of Siviwe.
Oh my God. I spend obviously, like any business person, a lot of time on my phone.
Okay.
I'm working on shooting a lot of content. I think I'm definitely a perfectionist to a fault, to a point where I've had quite a few of my close people have to tell me, like, learn to work with what you have, because I don't mind sacrificing not having
Right.
like certain luxuries of, like, maybe let's say going for retail therapy and just throwing all my money into makeup or throwing all my money into paying, I promise you, into paying a photographer. You know that TikTok where they're like,
Yes.
my makeup, my food for the month
Yes.
is makeup. And like, I don't mind being that person. So right now, honestly, a typical day for me looks like being on the phone. If I'm not on set, because I currently work for the Eastern Cape Film Festival.
Nice. That's
So,
big.
Yeah, right. Yes.
That's big
Yeah,
news.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, 6
So-
months in the game.
Right.
And now you're working for a film festival. That is big
it sounds so
news.
cliche, but when things start happening for you, it kind of feels like it's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because like even my brother was like, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" And I was like, because maybe in my mind it hasn't registered
Right.
that I'm
And that
working in
happens. It
yeah.
happens.
I feel like it hasn't sunk in that I'm in production and I work in huge spaces with huge personalities and huge directors, you know what I mean? So day in my life looks like being on set for 12 hours, sometimes more. And then coming back and then continuing being on my phone and kind of planning what's next for my business.
Right.
What I can put out. Yeah.
And what direction are you taking it? Do you, I don't know, perhaps plan on having a makeup brand in the future? You know?
I mean, I'm like any business person. I don't like to jinx myself.
Right.
But I've always said to people, the reason why I couldn't necessarily go into the space of being an influencer, because like a lot of people are like, listen, just start off, like be an influencer, post. But I think as a person, learn to listen to your instincts. I honestly know I do like to look good, but I honestly do not have the energy to be in front of a camera and get dressed and like
Every day.
and do your makeup
to take it all off again.
and take it all off and go to bed. In my mind, it honestly just doesn't make sense. But there are people where that comes naturally.
Right.
For me, what comes naturally is working on another person's face,
Okay.
making other people feel good, working with women. I love being around feminine energy that kind of elevates my intellect and way of thinking. So for me, I think what's next is honestly, I really am still hell bent on wanting to have the education part of the industry that I'm in. But I am absolutely in love with the production of makeup. The production of makeup is actually really, really gruesome, and it's a very dainty world to be in. It's not as pretty as it looks. There's a lot of work and a lot of money that goes into it, but the return of it is absolutely amazing. I've followed a lot of people that are in the background of what makeup is and the business of it, and I absolutely love that. Rather than following the path of just being in front of the camera and the influencing part of it, or the marketing part of it.
Right.
So I think definitely, I think that's why essentially, even with my company name, I went with cosmetics instead of maybe like beauty or MUA, or because I am generally into just the skincare, everything skin that kind of encompasses what makeup is as a business.
I guess it's also, on the education aspect of things. It's for the respect of the discipline as well.
Definitely.
Because makeup artistry is not necessarily just putting on foundation and eyeshadow.
Definitely.
There's, movie sets where
Exactly.
that aspect comes in.
Yeah.
There are different kinds of productions where they need makeup artists and their art.
Yeah.
And it's a real thing. It's a real
it definitely
industry.
is. Definitely
All
is.
right, great. Thank you very much. And we still have Siviwe Katywa in studio. Don't miss her later on. And we still have Siviwe Katywa for, the last bit of the show. Where can people find you? If I have a wedding, graduation, I have a 16th birthday, I don't know.
Right.
Like, where can people find you?
Everywhere except for Twitter, of course. Facebook, clearsky.cosmetics. Instagram, clearsky_cosmetics. And all my details are there. I mean, as soon as you find my page, my booking link is there, my WhatsApp business number, is there. So yeah, your Facebook, or your known social media spaces.
Social media platforms.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Siviwe Katywa from Clear Sky Cosmetics. You can find her on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, everywhere. Okay, so you can't say you can't find her.
Yeah, no.
Well, that is it for today. We heard from Siviwe, we heard the jams, and we got some insight in the world and business of makeup artistry.